We are living in this wild era where AI and automation are just completely reshaping everything. But when you look at customer experience, or CX, has all this new tech really delivered? That's what we're going to break down. We're going to look at what's new, what's coming next, and maybe most importantly, the things that will never, ever change about a great customer relationship.
So, get this. A recent Salesforce report found that a staggering 88% of buyers now say the experience a company provides is just as important as its products. Let that sink in. That means how you deliver is officially on the same level as what you sell. The bar for a good experience has never been higher.
But here's the crazy part. Despite that massive expectation, only 38% of customers feel that AI has actually improved their experience in any real, meaningful way. You see that? There's this huge gap between the promise of these incredible new tools and the reality people are actually living with every day.
So that's the big question, right? What is going on here? Why isn't all this amazing technology creating happier customers? Well, to figure that out, we first have to understand that the very definition of a good experience has been completely rewritten.
Okay, so let's start with what's already changed. Because the standards for customer experience, they're not just a little higher, they are fundamentally different than they were even 10 years ago. The whole baseline for what we consider good is a new game.
I mean, think about it. It used to be okay to get back to someone in 48 hours. Now, we expect real-time updates. We've gone from generic one-size-fits-all support to demanding personalized context. And this is a big one. Customer experience is no longer just some department down the hall. Nope. Now it is everyone's job.
And let's just double-click on that first point, speed. This quote just nails it. Today, speed isn't about efficiency. It is a direct signal of how much you value a customer. A quick response screams, "We care about you," while a delay, well, a delay just feels like total indifference, no matter what the reason is.
And then you have personalization. According to McKinsey, a huge majority of customers, 71%, just expect you to know them. But look at the second number. It's even more telling. A slightly higher percentage get actively frustrated when that personal touch is missing. See, personalization isn't some bonus feature anymore. It's a core requirement. So that brings us to what's changing right now, in this moment. You know, the smartest companies out there, they aren't using automation to try and replace their people. No way. They're using it as a safety net, a system to guarantee that the really important things never ever fall through the cracks. So modern automation is doing this in a few key ways. First, it's giving everyone a single, unified view of the customer, so sales and marketing and support are all finally on the same page. Second, it's making service proactive instead of reactive. It flags problems before a customer even has to complain. And third, it's like this alignment glue that holds every team accountable to the promises they made. And all of that connects into what you could call a living CX loop. It all starts with intent, a promise made during a sale. Automation makes sure that promise gets handed off cleanly to the delivery team. Then it tracks feedback, things like usage data or satisfaction scores. And finally, it uses those signals to adapt, triggering actions to make sure everything stays on track. It's this continuous, always learning system.
But here's the thing. All the tools, all the automated loops in the world, they can't save a relationship if the customer doesn't feel cared for. And that brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. What hasn't changed one bit, the human core of customer experience.
We usually assume that clients leave because of bad results, right? And for the most part, that's true. But look at this. A full 30% of customers leave, even when they're getting good results. So what's the reason? Simple. Relationship neglect. The communication just faded, accountability disappeared, and they were made to feel ignored.
This is so important. Most customer churn, it doesn't start with some big, dramatic failure. It starts with silence. It's that slow decay of communication, the missed check-ins, the feeling that you just aren't a priority anymore. Neglect is the real relationship killer.
So where do you fight back against that silence? Well, trust isn't built when everything's going perfectly. It's forged in the fire of 3 critical moments, right at the very beginning of a relationship, when something inevitably goes wrong, and at the very end of a project or contract. How you handle these moments with honesty and accountability, that is what defines the entire relationship.
Okay, so how do we actually prevent that slow decay? How do we keep our customer partnerships from dying of neglect? This last part is all about how to stay visible and how to prove your value long after that initial sale is done. Here are 4 super practical ways to do it. 1. Proactive check-ins. And I don't just mean quarterly business reviews. I mean real conversations. 2. Share progress before they have to ask you for it. 3. And this one is huge. Own your mistakes, own them early, and be transparent. And finally, number 4, humanize your automation. Use it to remind your team to reach out, not to replace the outreach itself.
And that right there is the core philosophy. That's how you use this technology correctly. The real goal of automation shouldn't be to cut costs or replace people. It should be to protect the human relationships that are at the very heart of your business, to make sure care and accountability never, ever slip.
So when you boil it all down, modern CX really has 2 sides of the same coin. On one side, you've got the mechanics, the automation, the speed, the data, the tools. That's the how. But on the other side, you've got the morals, reliability, honesty, clarity, and relationships. And that's the why. Technology has totally changed the mechanics, but it has not changed the morals one bit. So I'll leave you with this last thought to chew on. Your customer experience isn't just a function, it isn't just a department on an org chart. It is the living, breathing, daily proof of your company's integrity. So the question is it proof that you keep your word?